Welcome to a series I'm trying to start on this channel because I'm way too slow at uploading my drawings. Hey everybody. So, I'm gonna try and do some theory videos here, and the first one that I kind of want to answer that I just randomly looked up was, can any Medabot use the Medaforce? Or rather, can any metal use the Medaforce? So we're pretty much solely looking at the anime for this theory here, and from a post that I'm reading that's 2 years old that I just want to answer here. For the short answer, only certain metals are actually able to use the Medaforce. Now, obviously, you guys are thinking, oh, it's only the rare metals that can actually use the Medaforce. But in the final episode of the original series, episode 52 or 51? Nope, 52. You hear Dr. Aki explain that Medabi had unlocked all the clones' potential power, or all of the beetle Kabuto metals that we saw being possessed by Medabi in that one episode. He got captured and everybody started running haywire. All of those Medabots, their latent power to use the Medaforce was awakened.
They're awakening! What do you mean? Medabi has awakened the dormant power within all of the clone metals.
Riku shows the exception in that episode because he had already known how to use the Medaforce, so obviously he was able to give his powers to Medabi for the giant Medabi here. Interesting point from the post was that the only Medabot in the series that has been shown to actually use the Medaforce that wasn't a rare metal was Similodon. And the reason for Similodon being able to use the Medaforce could simply be the same reason as all those other Medabots that Medabi activated for them to unlock their Medaforce potential. And that's just simply because Similodon is a clone of somebody else's metal. Now, throughout the series, we've seen that in order for the Medaforce to be activated, the Medabot has to experience a lot of anger or intense emotions, I guess. At least that's what it kind of seems. It's kind of almost like how Goku goes Super Saiyan, if you will. So that's kind of seems to be how most anime, you get your superpower, you have to be extremely angry or experience an intense emotion. And that pretty much confirms what happened with Similodon in the fighting off against Team, I think it was North America or Team USA. Now, I know throughout the series we've seen Medabots, have emotions, but I think there's a couple different formulas or a few different things that have to be accomplished in order for a Medabot to kind of unlock their potential. And for this theory, it kind of ties into the Medabot game, where they mention, and it's also mentioned in the anime, that the Medabots have a safety mechanism so that they don't attack humans or something like that.
8 years ago, a fierce battle between rare metals caused the Medabots of the world to run wild. From then on, a safety switch was installed in all Medabots in a foolish attempt to suppress another 10 days of darkness.
Because the Medaforce is a very strong attack, it can KO a Medabot in one shot, but in the case of Similodon, it could also cut an entire stadium in half.
Extreme Shadow Sword!
Overdid it by that much! Sorry!
For me, that's one reason why not every Medabot can use the Medaforce. So from my perspective, in order for a Medabot to use the Medaforce, you have to either be a rare metal or be a clone of the rare metal. You need to have a high amount of emotion or something really dramatic that builds up all that emotion to kind of, for lack of a better term, fight to the bitter death, if you will. That seems what happens most of the time when the Medaforce is activated. The Medabot is in a critical condition, or just their state of mind is in a place where their only thought is destroy or overpower their opponent, and that's when the Medaforce is activated. But from that emotional state, I think the Medabot also needs to be willing to just destroy everything and just not back down.
I don't care, as long as Dr. Aki is destroyed as well.
Sorry. I really feel that the limiter restricts the Medabot's use of the Medaforce, and that's why we see very few Medabots actually use the Medaforce within the series. None of them really experience a stressful situation where it was a do or die moment where they were willing to kind of go through that state of mind of destroying everything in their path, because the limiter was probably kicking in, telling them that this is your limit, don't go past this. Otherwise, something will happen. And we kind of saw that when Dr. Aki was analyzing Smildon after he had used the Medaforce, because it was just very strange for a metal clone to actually use the Medaforce. We did see Team Egypt, I think that was the team from the World Tournament. They were also able to use the Medaforce, but there's argument that this is simply just a mimic. It's not actually the Medaforce, or is it? What confuses me and probably a lot of others is that why did it need to mimic Medabe?
Cleo Battler! Metamorphosis! Oh no! Medaforce! So she's got a rare metal too!
And from just my own perspective, I think it just mimicked Medabe because it needed to kind of do a force gate, use the same amount of power. I don't know whether or not it has its own unique Medaforce, because as we've seen, each Medabot kind of portrays its own Medaforce color. Smildon is green, Medabe is like yellow, or I think Ricochet was blue, Warband's red, and I forget which color Archbeetle's Medaforce was, but again, like, it's really hard to argue. So aside from Team Egypt's Medabot, I think the three rules pretty much stand for all of the metals. You either have to be a rare metal, or at least a clone of the rare metals. You have to experience intense emotion, and you also have to go bypass your limiter and be able to just have that thought process of willing to destroy whatever the heck is in front of you, not giving up, and just fighting to the bitter end. I think those are the three requirements that allows most of the Medabots to use the Medaforce. You may argue that against Team France, maybe Medabe wasn't in that state of mind, but I'm pretty sure he was in a state of mind to just get rid of Team France, so I still think the point stands. And this theory kind of works a little with what happened when Ikki was forcibly or just casually trying to get Medabe to use the Medaforce after they had used it against Robo Emperor. It's the fact that there was really no need for Medabe to actually activate it. He was not in the state of mind. It wasn't a life or death situation, or he was really upset about it. So when he was facing off against Pepper Cat, or even that other guy with the dragon Medabot, they weren't in that state of mind where it was necessary to just one-shot. So this has just been my short theory about the Medaforce. I'm gonna try and post a couple other theory videos and just kind of surf the net to see what people are wondering about, but I hope this is a good start. If any of you guys have any comments or think I'm missing something about my theory for the Medaforce, let me know. This is just my starting video and just something I just kind of wanted to begin with. I think this is a decent start. Anyway, so thanks for joining me. Please comment if any of you guys disagree or have a different opinion, because I'm pretty sure there's a couple open spaces for debate here. But thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys next time.